What's up, guys? It's Cece, and today I'm going to be doing a review to the Alchemist Returns episode of Tangled series. Now, hopefully, this will not be a multi-part video, but the reason why it might is because this was a very serious episode and a very confusing episode. So, yeah. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. So, the first thing we see is that Rapunzel's walking mad. And then the first line we hear is, "You lied to me." So I'm like, okay, so we're leaving off exactly where we left off in the last episode. And her dad's like, "I'm sorry, I'm just trying to protect you." And she's like, "From what? Like, your own men?" Or, she's angry with him. And she's like, "You're not the first person to lie to me about what I'm not ready for." And when she said this, I thought of Mother Gothel. Because she's like, the outside world is dangerous and you're not ready. You're gonna die if you're not careful. So I was like, oh gosh, she's compared him to Mother Gothel, which is just a witch. And I was just like, so she basically compared her dad to a witch. Okay, so, jeez. And so Rapunzel's in her room, thinking about what to do next. And Eugene's just like, well, there's gonna be no daddy-daughter dance anytime soon. And Rapunzel's kind of giving this look seriously, this is no time for jokes, I'm serious. And she asked for alone time. And Eugene's like, I know you're under a lot of pressure, but if anyone can find the bright side of things, it's you. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet. And also outside of her room, they hear the two guards arguing and saying stuff about how I hate this and this and this about you and this and this. So there's Rapunzel's like, why? You guys are just best friends. And Eugene's like, okay, you get some rest. I'm gonna take care of this. And so Rapunzel has a dream. Also, she hears music, and there's this dance thing going on. I'm like, okay, she's thinking about when Eugene said daddy-daughter dance, because they were dancing. And her dad's like, I'm sorry I did this and this. And Rapunzel's like, oh, it's okay. And then also this rock appears in between them. And then this wall, appears between Rapunzel's dad and Rapunzel's mom. Then she turns around and she sees Cass and Eugene. And so she's trying to run to her friends because she can't tell her parents now. And then Cass gets blocked off between Eugene and her. And then Eugene gets blocked off between Rapunzel and himself. And then Varian appears behind her saying, you can't keep running. Face your destiny, otherwise everything that you hold in your heart will be in grave danger. And I'm like, this is kind of deep. So I was like, okay. So a 14-year-old is telling an 18 or 19-year-old to stop running and face it. I'm gonna stop right there for a minute. So Varian is 14. I know that because in one of the Tales of Rapunzel books, it says that he is 14. And also I was kind of guessing that too. And then Rapunzel, we know is 18 from the movie, but in last week's episode, it was her birthday, so technically she's 19. Now, Cass, I've, a lot of people I've, seen, from different websites and things, Untangled stuff, a lot of people think that she's, a lot of us know that, she has to be older than Rapunzel, but she has to be younger than Eugene. So somewhere in between, 18 and 26. Part of me was thinking, 19 or 20, personally. Or Rapunzel's age, just older than her. We never actually know because they never say anything. They say Varian's age, they say Rapunzel's age, they say Eugene's age. So we don't know how old Cass is, but I'm thinking 19 or 20. Anyway, back to the episode. So then Rapunzel wakes up and her hair's just flowing out of her head, if it makes sense. It's if I took my hair right now and it started flowing away from me like this. And then Pascal is just flying and she's like, it's okay, buddy, you're okay. And then like she decides to go to the dock, and then she's like hears something behind her, and it's Varian's raccoon, Runiger or Radiger. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I don't even know exactly which name it is, but I know it's like something or anyway. She's like, "Oh hi," and all of a sudden Varian like jumps up from behind her and like grabs her mouth as if he was gonna kidnap her, and I'm like, "What? Like, hang on, like." What? That's all I had to say, like, when I first saw it. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here." And he's like, "Do you have the scroll? Like, people aren't really upon me because I attacked you." And she's like, "You're just trying to get my help." And he's like, "But you're just trying to save the kingdom. But now you can help me, so you saw why." And she'll have a flashback to Rapunzel seeing Varian's father in the rock thingy. And she's just like, "I'm so sorry." And so she's like, "What can I do to help?" And he says, I tried to translate the scroll before I gave it to you, and it has something to do with the sun drop, and like which gave birth or something like that. It's like to the flower and moon, like with the rocks. And I was just like, okay, so sun and moon like go together somehow to give something that ties in with Rapunzel. It's kind of interesting. But that's really, like, confusing if you think about it too much. And Rapunzel's like, "But where are we going to find the flower?" And he's like, "I think it's in the treasure vault." And she's like, "We can't just ask my dad if I can go get it." And he's like, "That's why we need to steal it." And Rapunzel gets this look in her eye no, like, please, no. And so then it jumps to where Eugene's, like, looking like in, like, suit of armor for night, like in the hall. And Cass comes up from behind him and goes, "Oh, it's hard not to look into like shiny things, isn't it, buddy?" And he's like, "The chef just said my ears are too big." And Cass is like, "What? No, your head's is too small for your ears." And so there's like some jokes. And so Eugene's like, "No, I'm serious. Like, it seems like people are acting weird." And she's like, "Well, you're gonna love this." And Cass opens the door, and it like shows like all these people saying like deep truths that are like, okay, I didn't have to know that much. And like for one of them, like Nigel, the advisor guy, he was like, "People love my voice, but then I really sound like this." And he says it in this voice kind of like Roz from Monsters Inc., but as a guy. And I was like, huh, okay, that's kind of weird. And so Cass asks Eugene, "Who's the first person that started acting out of the ordinary?" And then we ended up going to see Rapunzel again. So it goes back and forth the entire episode like it usually does. And Rapunzel and Varian are like trying to go like through the tunnels from like Harrods to Zon, or like where they found the Demanitus device, and those tunnels. And there's a bunch of booby traps, and one of them, the first one they run into, is this wall closing thing, where like there's like giant bolt things at the top, like controlling it. So Rapunzel asked Pascal to like fix that, like go and try to find something that might stop. And I kind of got worried at this part because it's like we know what happened last time Pascal got into some gears, like into like machine stuff. He almost died. So I was kind of nervous about that. He ends up being okay. And so, like, they're literally, like, squished until, like, Rapunzel's legs are on the wall across from her and Varian as well. And Varian's like, "I think I'm going to be sick." So, then we go to, like, Cass and Eugene and just, like, trying to figure out what's going on. So she's like, "Okay, Pete, just walk us through your day." And so then Pete starts saying things that are boring that make we don't need to say this kind of stuff. Like, "Well, first I woke up, and then I talked to my cat, and then I made breakfast." And it's like, okay, that's nice, but we don't need that information. And like we're going back and forth like usual. Then we end up getting to like Rapunzel and Varian are like in this room like under the vault. And so when they didn't like see the trapdoors above them, and this thing called an automaton, which personally I thought was an interesting name because it's like basically saying atom, like the science thing. And so they end up like destroying it, and Varian sees this thing on the back, like almost like it almost looked like a paper towel roll to me, but it's like in its back because it's like on the floor. And I was like, oh no, what is he gonna do now? So then we go to Cass and Eugene, and there's Cass is like, you're just giving us a bunch of random stuff we do not need to know. Like, it's all useless. And Stan's like, or no, it's not Stan, it's Pete. I don't know. This episode is confusing me. I ended up calling him one Stan, one Pete, when it's actually opposite. And he is like, what? No, I gave you my, like, secret recipe. And she's like, that's literally the useless part. And Eugene's like, just tell us stuff that was out of the ordinary. And he said, well, there was this guy in a bush who gave me cookies. They were purple. And then, and he's like, well, that was out of the ordinary. And Cass is like, you think? You should have started off with that. And then they asked him to describe him. And Pete said, well, he had a squeaky voice. And he's asking about the flower. And Cass is like, okay, who do we know who's like this? And Eugene's like, Varian, come on, Rapunzel must be in danger. So they're like trying to get in the vault, but the guards won't let them. They're like, what? There's no flower in here. And they're like, yes, we know the secret. Stop trying to hide it. And so Eugene's like, let me ask you one question. Like, would you rather face the king's wrath or hers? And Cass like pops her knuckles, and like, my mom and I thought that was hilarious. And so Varian and Rapunzel are in the vault, and Varian takes the entire flower instead of one petal like you promised in the beginning. And she was just like, why not one petal like you said? And he's like, well, it's not enough. And apparently then we figure out that he doesn't care about the kingdom, he cares about his dad, which I thought was kind of selfish. But it's like, yo, what's going on? Like, dude, calm down. Technically, he might already be dead, so if you end up like getting him out of that rock thing, he could still be dead. Like might have been just useless the entire time. You never know. So he's like, I used you, I lied to you. And then Rapunzel's like, no, give me the flower. And the vial that Xavier's potion thing was in falls out of his bag. And she was like, you shouldn't be tampering with this. And he's just like, well, you're surprised at what people would do to give you a cookie. And I was like, Varian, you're as a kid of just weirdness. Like, we don't know to trust you or not. Are you nice? Are you evil? What are you? And so, like, Cass and Eugene end up coming in, and like, there he is, like, get him, like, to arrest Varian because he's been lying to the princess, breaking the law, and doing all these things that he should be doing. And so he ends up like doing this like kind of like those magic things where like the dust happens and then they walk away. And so she's like, no, Varian, get back here. And he doesn't. So Rapunzel's on her balcony, and Eugene's like, so the doctors the doctors said that the potion for like the cookies will wear off when they do. Like, there's no exact time. And Rapunzel's like, he broke the law, and now the most, like, magical object in the entire land is in the hands of, like, I don't know what to call him now. And she's like, all I know is that we haven't seen the last of him. Then it shows Varian in his lab, and he's, like trying to get his dad out with his drill, and he's, like, realizes that the, like, Sundrop isn't in the flower anymore, it's Rapunzel, and I was like, oh gosh, so he's technically evil now. Let's just put it that way. So things were done from this episode. Varian cannot be trusted, and this thing is just getting confusing. The next episode is on January 13th of 2018, and so I'm excited because it's an hour special. Hopefully there'll be songs in the usual hour specials. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to join the CC Squad. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Mwah! Bye!